Hello and welcome to UFO Video News Now. It's been a while since I put up a video, but figured I'd get back into it because this is going to be my first video that I actually put up on Rumble. I'm sure a lot of people know what's going on with YouTube and, their censorship. And if you don't toe the party line or the accepted narrative, or, you start telling too much of the truth, they throttle you. And I kind of feel like Sisyphus, pushing that boulder up a hill, trying to fight to expand my channel. But anyways, I just want to get back into it. But yeah, this is going to be my first upload to Rumble too, so I'm going to start doing that. But anyways, this is going to be kind of a different video because at the end, I think I'm going to it's going to be like an 8-minute video that's pretty long, but it's some guy explaining all of the sighting of orbs that we've been seeing lately. So, when I get to that, I'll talk about that. But anyways, let me give you a quick preview of what I got coming up in this video. Oh yeah, I got this one here, which is a, super clear video of this UFO. A lot of people think it's fake because it's so good. Also have this, this is actually a really long 40-minute video, but these gets into these crafts. I'm pretty sure, I've talked about this before, but this is something that came out, in 2007. Where some guy had photographed these weird, strange craft. And, and then eventually someone else found documents that kind of explained what these things were. But this guy's got some photos of these things, several different shapes. And then he talks about how they were able to dematerialize or disappear in front of his eyes. Let's see, this was a video that was submitted in the comments section by this guy Truman. He's definitely, I think this is taken with infrared. I'm assuming it's taken with infrared, but he's captured some strange like triangular shaped craft. This is a quick video. Yeah, it's only 3 minutes long, from UFO Mania, The Truth Is Out There, but it talks about, the 3 categories of these beings, non-human intelligence, their residents, visitors, and strangers. And interesting enough, this last video is dealing with the visitors and the strangers. Yeah, because this guy thinks that that's what a lot of these orbs are there. They're some type of defense system. And then, I want to talk about this video here because, this is something that I've been saying. And another reason why, I've kind of been skeptical about doing any more videos, because my whole emphasis has been on the idea that we've been brainwashed to believe that all of these crafts that we see are from visitors, when the reality is that some are visitors, no doubt, but I think the majority of the sightings we see are from the several advanced civilizations that are sharing the planet with us. And I think that idea is definitely gaining more and more acceptance, even within the UFO community, because I remember when I first, put that out there were a lot of, people within the UFO community that thought that was ridiculous. But it's becoming more and more obvious. More and more people are starting to talk about, UAPs existing underwater, and that, it is, several like ancient civilizations. And I think some are also what I would call transplants, like for whatever reason, maybe civilization, their planet was dying or something. I'm sure we've heard all those stories, but I think, some of them maybe arrived here and set up shop underwater or in deep earth caverns. And then also, something that I talk about with this video here is like, how do you explain the advanced architecture that was used by the ancient Greeks and the Romans? But from my understanding, the Romans copied the Greeks, so this is really considering Greek architecture. But where did that come from? Because if you really think about it, right, our planet had just gone through a extinction level event, the Younger Dryas cataclysm, right? So, you got to give up a couple thousand years, I think, for the Earth to recover from that. And then, somehow all of these different civilizations just started popping up. How did these civilizations, like the Greeks and the Romans, and there were several others, like the Etruscans, the Minoans, the Mycenaeans, and there's others like in the Indus Valley I just learned about. There's all these highly advanced civilizations, but there's no evidence that they developed that, or their level of technology on Earth, right? I mean, we know like the Greeks, that right from the get-go, they were building, these incredible structures. Well, not necessarily incredible, but these sophisticated structures, that you don't find this style anywhere else on the planet. So, my question has always been, where did it develop? Because it obviously didn't develop on planet Earth, right? So I think these ancient civilizations were brought intact. Their whole culture and a bunch of inhabitants arrived on this planet and set up shop alongside some of our primitive species, and alongside some of these other advanced civilizations, again, that have always been here. So there's that. Here's another, mainstream article. This is on CNBC. U.S. government wants to move from conversation on UFOs from speculation to science. So I think even in this one, no, they didn't say anything about it. But, this just goes to show how UFOs, UAPs, whatever you want to call them, is definitely mainstream now, right? I think people who still want to deny the existence of these things, they're like the, I didn't even want to call them conspiracy theorists. They're just narrow-minded. I guess, that's the only way you can describe them. Let's see. Oh yeah, so this is the
from off-world.
This is this long video that I'm going to play this at the end, but this video is going to definitely be long because I'm going to play this whole thing because what this guy has to say I think makes a lot of sense. But he's talking about these orbs that people have been seeing all over the world, and for a long time. And I think his explanation makes a lot of sense. But anyways, if you appreciate the time and effort that I put into bringing this information to you, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share, and more importantly, please subscribe. Anyways, so let's go to this first video here. Yeah, let's see. I can't make this thing any bigger, but let me turn this sound.
Original footage of an UFO and a plane, filmed in 2008. We have enhanced the quality of the original video. The UFO was so clear that skeptics did not want to believe it is.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the clarity of that. I mean, do you think that this is real? Actually, you know what? Here, let me play this out, and then, now this shot here, or right there, I wish this thing didn't show up there. But anyways, this kind of looks, I don't know. Or this here is supposed to be a plane, or a helicopter or something. Yeah, I'm
This is the original
50-50
footage of an UFO and a plane, filmed in 2008.
Well, again,
we have enhanced the quality of the original video.
Let me turn this down here. If this is if that's a plane, is it hovering? Or is it moving along? Yeah, there's no way that's a plane. That's got to be a helicopter. Or unless it's another UFO. I don't know. Anyways, that's that. Let's go to this one here. Oh, yeah. So now, these were just images that some guy took, and I don't remember. Let me play this thing because the guy talks about
previous point in time, while the rest of the shots were supposedly taken on May 6th, 2007. Subsequently, all of these photographs were uploaded to the Coast to Coast website. In April 2007, during a walk, Chad and his spouse observed a remarkably enormous and peculiar aerial object. His spouse captured an image using the camera on her mobile device, and several days later, a friend of theirs who also happened to be their neighbor kindly loaned them his camera and accompanied them to capture images of this peculiar object.
Yeah, now supposedly these things are crafts that are created by some technology company here in the United States. This isn't some type of alien craft. It's supposed to be, I think it's based on alien technology, or, again, our advanced visitors, or our advanced neighbors, or, maybe from crash saucers and stuff like that. But it's definitely, this is technology that isn't developed by humans.
They located the object and captured many high-resolution photographs. The vessel operates with minimal noise and has exceptionally fluid motion. Typically, it exhibits a leisurely pace until it makes the decision to depart.
Yeah. Now there was a document that someone found that described how these crafts were built, or what they do, and it said something about these symbols down here. These are supposedly a type of programming where if you put these symbols on anything, that it's supposed to somehow tap into, I don't know, an energy field. I guess that that's beyond my understanding. But it's supposed to be some kind of symbols that just by writing or putting these symbols on something, that it actually causes something to happen, a physical effect.
Then it accelerates at an extremely high speed and disappears from view almost instantaneously. Deborah McKinley, a resident of California, submitted a report to the Mutual UFO Network website on May 12, 2007. The report included 2 mobile phone images that were supposedly taken in Lake Tahoe, Nevada on May 5, 2007. The photos depicted a craft in the air that resembled a previous sighting. According to their testimony, they observed an object in the sky at 7 in the evening around Lake Tahoe.
Let me just stop this right here, because I don't want to play too much of this, but let me go forward to, look at these images, man. Yeah, look at this one here, or this one. Ooh. Yeah, look at that one. Well, now here is this document. Yeah, here it is. CARET, Commercial Applications Research for Extraterrestrial Technology Research Report. And then in this document, I think, I used to have this document, because again, back before people really started putting the clamps on the internet, there were a lot of interesting things that you should be able to, you could get. Well, yeah, so yeah, here are these symbols that I was talking about, that they, again, according to these documents, it's, you put these symbols on this metal, or whatever this, whatever this thing is made out of. I don't know if it's metal or porcelain or whatever, but anyways, these symbols will somehow interact with this object, and it's like a programming language, but that's all, you put the symbol on and it somehow does something to this object. But anyways, you want to check, more of it out, look for this video. This man suddenly vanished after sharing this clear image of a UFO with hieroglyphics on unexplained mysteries. So that's that. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is this Truman. He sent this to me in the comments.
The surveillance, the stars program, I call it. See this whole galaxy moving right now? And then you're going to see one of the fake North Stars come up on the bottom screen in the center. The date on this is...
Yeah, you can see. I don't know if this is 3 separate crafts or if this is one gigantic craft.
Wrong, by the way. It's actually April 9th, 2024, around 4:30 in the morning, which is when I catch these things. It's like changing in the guard time. Let's see them all moving. Now watch this big fake North Star. Look at what it's going to use, a cloaking technology in just a minute to hide itself. But I think most of the time it works, but this is filmed with infrared night vision, so it's kind of funny that a cheap infrared hunting camera blew up this big government project. But, so they're all going their separate ways, going back to base.
Yeah, imagine that, right? Anyone can get an infrared camera and start capturing these things. So anyways, yeah, this is as much as I want to play of that. If you want to watch more of this, it's only 3 minutes long, but go to this guy Truman's channel. Must watch. This is it. Give him some love. Give him, subscribe. Let's see now. Let me play this one here, talking about these categories. There are 3 categories to consider when dealing with non-human intelligence. There are residents, visitors, and strangers.
John Ramirez retired from the CIA at the equivalent rank of a colonel. Colonel, GS-15, he says there are 3 categories to consider when dealing with non-human intelligence. Entities that have been here long before humanity appeared and may have had some hand in making us who we are today. I was flown out to Arizona to have lunch with John, and during this meal he told us that he believes the hybridization between human and alien DNA is a core secret within the CIA. It seems very frightening to read the accounts of people who have experienced very disastrous effects when encountering the more disturbing aspects of the phenomena. Listen to John Ramirez.
And one quick thing about this guy, John Ramirez, he's the guy that has also said that that the reason why the mainstream media has been talking about UFOs more is because they are preparing people for the revelation that that UFOs and aliens are real, and the way it's going, they're going to also, it finally acknowledge, I guess, a part of disclosure is going to be that, that these beings are residents, right? They're not all visitors.
I say the phenomenon with a capital P because that's the way the government kind of lumps it all together. Whether it be like metallic craft, light energy orbs, presence of ETs in a corporeal sense, higher consciousness, what's being channeled, what's being experienced, it's all labeled under the phenomenon, including, as we learned, the more disturbing aspects of the phenomenon, which appear to be malevolent to human beings. So it's all lumped under phenomenon.
Yeah. Now again, remember what he says about malevolent, because this guy in this video, this TikTok video talking about the orbs, supposedly these orbs were created by, some Atlantean civilization in the ancient past to protect us from these malevolent visitors or strangers or whatever you want to call them.
And the fact that we can discuss this now is a big step forward. Now, as far as what the government doesn't know, I addressed it. This phenomenon that seems to be malevolent or from strangers, I call it. The government, I think, is still grappling with that issue. And I say strangers in the sense that it is my personal belief that there are residents, visitors, and strangers. Residents being, I believe, entities that have been here long before humanity appeared, and in fact, may have had some hand in making us who we are today. Otherwise, we'd still be primates with bonobos, chimpanzees, and gorillas.
Yeah, and I just want to add to this that I think some of us were created, right? Like, for instance, in the Sumerian text, it says the Anunnaki came and they were mining gold, and they got tired of mining gold, so they got one of the leaders to take a pre-existing hominid species, manipulate its DNA, and create, the first atom, right? The atomus. And I think this race was created to mine gold. And then subsequently, I think other races, again, after the Younger Dryas cataclysm, when the planet had recovered, I think, all the other animal species, including some humans, were brought to this planet. Because, again, how do you explain some of these cultures on these islands in the middle of nowhere, right? Because obviously they didn't row a boat to get on these islands like Papua New Guinea, the Hawaiian Islands, Samoa, or the Easter Island, right? The Rapa Nui, right? How did these hunter-gatherers arrive on these little tiny islands in the middle of nowhere if they were not brought there? And I also think that some of us came to this planet, which is why people sunburn. There are people on this planet who sunburn, and there's some people on their planet who don't sunburn. And I think people who don't sunburn are descendant from a race, a culture, or civilization that arrived on the planet. And obviously on their planet they were either far enough away from their sun that they didn't need melanin, or they came from a civilization that lived under the surface of the planet.
We're not. We've been elevated. And I believe it is the residents who did this. And I know that's very controversial, but it's a personal belief. That's how I sort it out for myself. And the visitors might actually be from other worlds. And the strangers, I don't know where they're from, but it seems very frightening to read the accounts of people, documented people, who have experienced very disastrous effects, very tragic effects with their health from encountering the disturbing aspects of the phenomenon.
Yeah, that's because there are some people who will go up and touch a UFO, right? Imagine standing behind a jet, right, as it's taking off, right? I mean, that's our technology, right? Of course, that's going to be dangerous, and I think sometimes people are getting too close to these craft, and they're being impacted by some type of radiation. But anyways, let's go to this next video here. Oh yeah, so again, this is now Richard Dolan, talking about. Oh, you know what? I think if I play this,
you may not have considered.
Again, I know these guys are going to hit me with a copyright violation if I play this. But again, yeah, this is my point. I don't know. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but yeah, it's mainstream. Do UAPs exist underwater? And the answer is yes, of course, right? People have been seeing these crafts coming in and out of our oceans for hundreds of years, right? Thousands of years, right? It goes back to even Christopher Columbus. They said in some of their ship's logs, they've talked about seeing craft underwater. And, there's all those reports around Catalina. And then go back to the Bermuda Triangle, right? Think of all the strangeness that happens under the Bermuda Triangle, right? Wouldn't it make sense that if there's some type of giant alien base, what's his name? Oh, I can't think of the one guy's name. He talks about how, that there's a movable, giant mobile base in the Bermuda Triangle. And every now and then, I think if we get too close, they come and teach us a lesson, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, so now this is just a quick animation, AI restored footage of what ancient Rome, right, would look like. Now again, ask yourself, if 5,000 years before this, right, before these people were walking around, the planet had just gone through a major cataclysm, right? And then so within 5,000 years of that, there are these people, again, who sunburn, who dress, right, unlike any other culture or civilization on the planet, right, speak a completely different language, right? Where did it develop? Yeah, like, look at these things, right? Again, you cannot convince me that people who used to be hunter-gatherers just woke up one day and knew how to do all this. And where is the evidence that these people were taught this, or these people developed this? Right? Everything, or as far as we know, as far as I know, let me rephrase that. As far as I know, these people were building these things right from the get-go. They had the knowledge, they had the ability. And why only in this region, right? Why not in other parts of the planet where the inhabitants of these different areas not building structures like this, right? So now, while these people were building structures like this, there are people running around in some countries, that still live in caves. In fact, heck, we have people that still live in huts and caves today. Look at this. Look at this. This obviously came from the mind of someone who was well organized. I mean, this isn't something that hunter-gatherers do. There's absolutely no evidence, right, that primitive hunter-gatherers, because we can go and look at hunter-gatherer tribes that still exist on this planet, right? And there's no evidence that they could do stuff like this, or they learned how to do stuff like this. Look at these columns, right? And if you go back to like Baalbek, these here are, obviously section, right? But because this is the Romans that were doing this. But if you go back to the Greeks were creating these things from one piece of rock. Where did they learn that? And I thought this here was also something kind of interesting. About how, the Romans collected water, right? This is...
and stored rainwater inside their homes, and it was quite an ingenious method. Pluvium was a crucial part of Roman houses, especially the domus, which were wealthy homes. The impluvium was a rectangular basin in the center of the atrium. It collected rainwater through an opening in the roof called the compluvium. This system gave the house water and helped cool it. The roof slope directed rainwater into the basin lined with waterproof materials to prevent leaks. This water was used for many things, from household...
Again, this, and it is an example of what the Romans were doing in ancient history, right? And also, again, from my understanding, like the Greeks, right? The Romans came, a long time after the Greeks, but how did the Greeks learn to do all this stuff? Where did their knowledge of like geometry and advanced math come from, if not from
tasks
another planet?
To gardens. The impluvium acted as an internal cistern, ensuring a steady, clean water supply. The water was often filtered through sand and stones before being stored, which made it cleaner. Also, the impluvium helped create a cooler and more humid atmosphere, fighting the intense heat of the Roman summer. Follow us for more. Did you know?
Interesting, right? Again, here's an article here. U.S. government wants to move conversation around UFOs from speculation to science. Unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, have captured the imagination of Americans for decades, but much of the conversation has been confined to science fiction movies and novels, right? Because that's how I guess it was the CIA wanted it to be, right? We now know that there's been an effort within elements within our government that have subverted this topic, that for whatever reason they did not want people talking about this. But now, now they do, because, like John Ramirez says, they're preparing us. They're getting us ready for a big reveal. In the absence of government commentary on the topic, conspiracy theories have run rampant. A big one suggests the U.S. has been concealing alien life and technology in secret compounds like Area 51 in Nevada. A 2019 poll found 68% of respondents believe the U.S. government knows more about UFOs than it is telling us. The government is trying to change the narrative. In an attempt to be more transparent and address potential national security questions, Washington, D.C. has taken up the charge to publicize and legitimize the study of unidentified anomalous phenomenon, or UAPs, as the military has rebranded UFOs. Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's the government's choice. Again, I think our advanced neighbors, have left to know, that they're going to reveal themselves, that they probably feel, right, we as a society are ready to handle it. So, sometime in 2025 or 2027, in between there, again, it's going to just be determined on, where we're at when they make the big reveal. And I have no idea, what that's going to be, whether it's going to be ships in the sky, or, maybe a big public announcement. I don't know. But it's definitely mainstream. Now, let's get to this last one here. Yeah, this video is already at 31 minutes, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just play this guy's video and then, stop it occasionally.
Civilization that created it, probably the Atlanteans, is no longer here.
And yeah, stop it occasionally just to add some comment. But yeah, anyways, check out what this guy has to say about these spheres.
Spheres that are buzzing around Earth are most likely remnants of an ancient planetary defense system that some civilization created to protect us from off-world entities and extraterrestrials. But that civilization that created it, probably the Atlanteans, is no longer here in mass. But we still have this defense system. We still have these spheres that are buzzing all around our Earth. And I'll show you some startling evidence in this video that'll really make you think way differently about the history of humans, about our place in the cosmos, and about what's really going on between this battle of good and evil, this battle of ET races, where humans fit into this whole weird puzzle. I'm Jordan, live and kicking. Hope you're doing amazing today. So,
now, again, I don't think that this Atlantean civilization has left. I think that they're still here. They're just living underwater and in deep earth caverns.
This picture right here is outside of the Vatican. The Vatican. And we already know they're not telling us everything they know, obviously. But why do they have this gigantic sculpture of this sphere, this ominous looking sphere outside the Vatican, okay? Well, it's not just at the Vatican. After the Vatican commissioned the artist to make this sphere, they made a whole bunch more and put them at the United Nations headquarters, put them at all sorts of universities around the world. These things are around the world. Now, you could just say this is art, right? Okay, but let's get into the spheres here. Not only do we have a sphere, there's a famous Betts sphere. The Betts family in Florida was out looking at this brush fire, and they found this sphere in a field. And there's been several others found. And this sphere, they took it home, and the dad, like a few days later, was playing guitar, and the sphere started moving on its own, and it started vibrating and making this humming noise to the guitar. And he was like, whoa, this thing is interacting with not only us, but with the sound, right? And this sphere has been studied by big names, Gary Nolan and others, and they don't think it has any on-world, or they don't think it has any human explanation, okay? So, on top of that, we have things like the Mosul Orb, which...
Yeah, I wonder why no one has, or maybe they have tried. I don't know, what would happen if they try to cut one of those spheres open?
Is a military satellite photograph of this metallic orb that is flying over Mosul, Iraq during wartime. So it tracked it. This is just a still shot, but the satellite actually tracked this orb floating all around. And no propulsion, no heat signature, no anything. Now, on top of that, we have reports of these orbs at nuclear bases, shutting down nuclear silos, turning nuclear missiles offline.
Right, because they're protecting the planet from us. They are protecting their home from us. It's like, you know, it's like when kids find the matches, right? You got to take those matches away.
All sorts of weird, crazy things that no one can stop and no one can control. Then going back to, like, say, the World War I and II times, we had what were called Foo Fighters. And Foo Fighters was essentially these orbs that were harassing our airplanes, basically. They didn't know what they were. They all thought it was Nazi technology. They thought it was Russian technology. No one knew what it was because they couldn't explain it. But there were these orbs that were just buzzing airplanes right and left, right? And driving people crazy. There's tons of reports of these orbs. And no one could explain it. They never did anything nefarious. They never downed a plane or hurt anybody, but they were everywhere, okay? And even today, if you start analyzing photographs of UFOs, right, and of space shuttles and of rocket launches and all this stuff, usually when you see a picture of a UFO, you just focus on the UFO. You're like, that's a UFO. I don't care about anything else in the picture. But when you actually go and look at old pictures of UFOs, you start seeing dots all around the UFOs.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to start scrutinizing any images of UFOs a lot more closer, because I have noticed these things. But again, I was more concerned about just looking at the flying saucer.
You start seeing these orbs everywhere, but no one was noticing them in the past because, like I said, if you see a picture of UFO, you just look at the UFO. If you see a flying saucer, you're looking at the flying saucer. You're not noticing these little balls around it, right? The orbs are everywhere. So what are these orbs? They are buzzing all around our Earth at all times, right? Tons, thousands of reports of them, thousands of photographs of them. What are they? Well, there's a dude named Patrick Jackson, really cool guy in England, and or Ireland, England or Ireland. He has a weird accent. Anyways, he is a computer programmer. He's an IT specialist, and his specialty is like decoding systems and reverse engineering things and figuring out how systems work and that kind of stuff. He's in IT. So he started seeing these orbs over in, I think it's England, and he started looking into it and trying to figure out, okay, what are these things? And he found out all these links between the orbs and like paranormal things happening, haunted houses, ghosts, and that kind of stuff. And he was able to, I mean, he deep dived on this for years, wrote a book, and for a while no one cared about him. I've been talking about him for a while now. Now he's starting to kind of hit mainstream because people are really starting to look into these orbs. I mean, the freaking Pentagon released that Mosul orb satellite picture, and no one can explain it, okay? And they just kind of glossed over it. They're getting us ready for this. What he was able to deduce through his intense research is that this is a global defense system, because what's happening, and we have lots of reports of this too, is when there's a UFO that say is not supposed to be here, they circle it and they either run it off or they shoot it down. And
so yeah, these are the strangers and the malevolent visitors.
Now, I've had a lot of people ask me when we talk about downed UFOs and stuff, they're like, how can these UFOs fly, millions of light years or whatever through the universe, traverse this crazy vast distances, then get to Earth and just crash? Like, it doesn't make any sense if they're so advanced. Well, it seems like we have a security system here on Earth that is literally shooting down these UFOs, okay? Now that would explain the crash craft. It would also explain all these pictures showing all these orbs around the UFOs. So Patrick Jackson goes into great detail about how these work. There's a relay system, they triangulate, there's a type 1, type 2, and type 3 spheres. They all are in different...
You know what, I just realized something, that these dots a lot of times are in triangular formations. So I wonder if
levels of the atmosphere, the type
this Truman video, let me change 529, this here it is. Yeah, this Truman vision. I wonder if that's what these are. I wonder if these are either the orbs, or if he's capturing orbs that are intercepting one of these visitors.
In like houses and forests and stuff like that, whenever they have to activate to communicate with the other spheres, it puts out this radiation, and that's why they do paranormal effects to get people to clear out of spaces. That's why houses become haunted, doors start opening and closing, and plates fall off of the walls and things like that that don't make any sense. Like, why would a deceased ghost do that? It's their way of getting humans out of the way so they don't get hurt by the radiation, right? It's a protection for us, because it seems like these things here are here to protect us, to protect Earth. But we didn't put them here. So where did they come from? All arrows point to Atlantean technology, that this is remnants of, like how we have satellites in space, right? And submarines in the ocean. Like say something happened to us and we were wiped out. All humans were killed and wiped out. Some species, 10,000 years from now will come to Earth and find our satellites floating through space. They'll find our submarines, nuclear-powered subs, floating around the ocean. They'll find remnants of us, right? But we won't be here. So I think that these spheres are remnants of a previous, ancient, advanced human-type civilization that had these things here to protect them from extraterrestrials.
Yeah, look at this. Look at how these spheres are in a triangular formation. So is that what we're seeing whenever we see videos of, again, I always said, I don't know if these are individual craft or one giant craft. Maybe they're individual spheres, just always getting into this triangular formation.
Terrestrials from the bad guys, okay? And they're still here. They're still operating.
Again,
some of them
triangular formation.
fall out of the sky, literally, because they're probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years old, like the Betz sphere. And there's been other people that have found these spheres. And we think that there's quite a few of them that are in government hands. So knowing all this, what does this tell us about everything? I love stories like this because it's blatantly obvious to anybody who opens their eyes that there's so much more to our history that we're not told. Humans go back way longer. There was multiple advanced human-type civilizations on Earth before us. Technology is not new. It's very, very old. And there's repeating cataclysms and things like that, and also species that just kind of outgrow this planet and move on, but leave their stuff behind. That's what we're finding with all the ancient temples and ancient civilizations and monoliths and all this kind of stuff, is these weren't hunter-gatherers. A lot of these people were extremely advanced. That's why they put their stuff in stone, carved things in stone, like tablets, not because they didn't have computers, but because they know that after cataclysm stuff, computers will be gone, but stone tablets last forever. Anyways, I think that these types of technologies are remnants of these past civilizations, and it proves and shows that not only does our human story go back way longer, but also that there are things out there in the universe that obviously these other people that were way more advanced than us were protecting themselves from. You know what I mean? Like, it's not this whole Stephen Greer thing where like all aliens are happy aliens. No, it's just not nature. Even if you're advanced doesn't mean you're going to be benevolent, and you might not even be malevolent, but you might just want something that someone else has. Like when we go in and tear down forest, the deer think we're evil. We're not out to get the deer. We just want the forest, right? So it shows that there's more to the story, and also shows that the ones before us that were super duper advanced were protecting themselves and this entire planet from something. And it seems like that is still out there, still fighting for us and still protecting us. And that is wild, right? Isn't that cool? So it's cool to know that. But also, what are they protecting us from? And why does the Vatican have a gigantic sculpture of it? And what is going on? Let me know.
Yes, what is it protecting us from?
What do you guys think in the comments? Have a beautiful day. Peace.
Who are these visitors, or the malevolent ones, and how much does the government know about that? And there's no way, right? Our government is not in the habit of ever revealing the truth about anything to us. So it's going to be a narrative, which means it's just going to be a partial truth. But I wonder how much of that they will reveal. But anyways, thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. Remember, like I said, I'm gonna post this on Rumble, and I'll keep putting it up on YouTube too. But if you enjoyed this content, please give this video a like. Please share this video, and more importantly, please subscribe. And you know what? Head over to my Rumble on. It's going to be Talking Surface Monkey. That's going to be my my Rumble channel. But anyways, until next time, take care.